This is Vladimir Putin being confronted by Russia's richest man. You are the most corrupt person I've ever seen. This was one of the two deadliest situations a dictator has ever faced.
The deposed Romanian leader, President Ceausescu, and his wife have been executed.
February 2003, a conference room in Kremlin. Vladimir Putin has been president for 3 years, but he's still establishing his power. Sitting across from him is Mikhail Khodorkovsky, Russia's richest man, worth $15 billion. He owns Yukos, one of Russia's biggest oil companies. The meeting is being broadcast live on Russian television, and the topic, corruption in Russia. Putin probably thinks this will be easy. Just blame some low-level officials and move on. But Mikhail Khodorkovsky has other plans. He is about to do something that will destroy his entire life. Putin has Khodorkovsky to speak about corruption, and instead of playing it safe, Mikhail looks directly at Putin and drops a bomb. Mr. President, I want to talk about corruption at the very top of Russian government. The room goes silent. Putin's face doesn't change. But everyone knows what Mikhail just did. He then mentions a specific oil deal where a state-owned company bought a private firm for a way more than it was worth. Basically, a way to transfer public's money to high-ranking official. He's accusing Putin's inner circle of stealing billions. Putin's response is ice cold. Your company had some tax issues recently, didn't it? He's reminding Mikhail Khodorkovsky that the government solved those issues for a price. He's basically calling Mikhail Khodorkovsky corrupt on live television. In that moment, Russia's richest man had made himself a target of Russia's most powerful man. And over the next 8 months, Putin methodically destroyed Mikhail Khodorkovsky's life. First, they arrest his business partner. Then, they investigate his company for tax evasion. One by one, his allies arrested, their offices raided. Friends beg Mikhail Khodorkovsky to flee Russia. He refuses. His company is about to sell a major stake to ExxonMobil, an American oil giant. And if that deal goes through, Americans would control a huge piece of Russian oil that Putin can't allow. October 25th, 2003, 5 am. Khodorkovsky's private jet land on Novosibirsk to refuel. The control tower tells them they need a routine inspection. The plane is directed to a remote location. Suddenly, some masked men with automatic weapon storm the aircraft. Spetsnaz, Russia's elite special force. That same day, Mikhail Khodorkovsky is charged with fraud, tax evasion, and embezzlement. The prosecution claims his crimes cost Russia over $1 billion. The trial is a joke. Khodorkovsky and his business partner are kept in a cage in that courtroom, like animals. Key witnesses are blocked, evidence fabricated. Verdict: 9 years in prison. But it gets even worse. Just as he's about to get released on parole in 2007, new charges are filed. Another trial. Another 14 years sentence. His company Yukos is destroyed. Assets worth billions were sold to state-owned companies for pennies. From being Russia's richest man on the verge of a massive deal with ExxonMobil, Khodorkovsky lost a $15 billion fortune. His company, his freedom in less than 2 years. He served 10 years in some of Russia's hardest labor camps before Putin unexpectedly pardoned him in 2013, probably for political reasons related to Winter Olympics. Today, Khodorkovsky lives in exile, still speaking out against Putin's regime. Putin was lucky because just one guy confronted him, but Ceausescu was confronted by millions. December 21st, 1989, Bucharest, Romania. It is freezing cold, but Nicolae Ceausescu is about to feel the heat. For last 24 years, he's been ruling Romania like his own personal kingdom. People are starving while he lives in a luxury, but protests are breaking out across the country. The Ceausescu has a plan to stop them. He is going to hold a biggest rally in Romanian history. 100,000 people will cheer for him on live television, and everyone watching will know he is in control. But there is a problem. He is about to discover that you can't fake loyalty forever. Ceausescu steps out onto his balcony, overlooking Palace Square. The cameras are rolling live across the country. Everything is going according to plan. The crowd is cheering. Except, wait, that's not the crowd. That's a pre-recorded tape playing through massive speakers. Ceausescu doesn't trust real crowd anymore. He starts his speech thanking the enthusiastic crowd. But then, at exactly 1 minute and 8 seconds into his speech, someone screams. That more screams and the chaos. Ceausescu stops mid-sentence. His face goes white. He raises his hand, trying to calm the crowd, but you can see the panic in his eyes. This was not in the script. The camera is shaken. TV signals cut for seconds. And when it comes back, Ceausescu looks like he has seen a ghost. What happened? A small group of protesters had broken through police barricades and reached the square. Their chants of "Down with Ceausescu" were picked up by the microphones and broadcast live to the entire nation. In that moment, millions of Romanians watching at their home realized something's about to happen. Their all-powerful dictator was just scared like an old man. Ceausescu tries to continue his speech, desperately promising wages increase, higher pensions, but it is too late. The spell is broken, and within hours, thousands flood the streets of Bucharest. Ceausescu orders his military to shoot the protesters. They refuse and join the revolution instead. The next morning, the crowds storm the Communist Party building. Ceausescu and his wife Elena are forced to flee by the helicopter from their own rooftop. But here's the crazy part. The pilot receives a message over the radio. All aircraft are grounded. Any unidentified plane will be shot down. They are forced to land on a random road. A bicycle mechanic picks them up and then immediately turns them over the police. 2 days after that failed speech, Nikolai and Elena Ceausescu are put on trial in a military courtroom. The trial lasts 2 hours and the verdict? Death by a firing squad. 48 hours after confronting his own people on live TV, Nikolai Ceausescu was dead. Ceausescu was confronted by millions, but there was a guy who confronted millions. 22nd July 1979, Baghdad, Iraq. The temperature outside is 104 degrees Fahrenheit, but inside the theater, it's about to get much hotter. 100 of Iraq's most powerful men have been summoned for what they think is a normal, routine meeting. But they have no idea they are walking into a death trap. 6 days earlier, Saddam Hussein becomes the president of Iraq. But there's a problem. Some of these men in this room have opposed his regime. And Saddam, he never forgets. Saddam takes the stage like he's hosting a game show. Except in this game, losing means death. But he's not gonna kill anyone himself. He's too smart for that. Instead, he calls a man named Muhi Abdak Hussein. The guy is a powerful man, but looks terrified, and for a good reason. Muhi has been tortured for days. Saddam's men told him,
"Go onto the stage and confess to the plotting against Saddam, or we will rape your wife and daughter in front of you."
So Muhi walks to the microphone with hundreds of men watching. He starts naming them one by one. He's throwing his colleagues under the bus to save his family. And this is where it gets insane. After Muhi finishes his confession, Saddam lights up a Cuban cigar like he's at a dinner party and asks the crowd, "What should we do with these traitors?" And remember, these men are terrified. So they start clapping, shouting, "Death, death." Because what else can they do? Saddam pulls out a list and starts reading the names.
طاهر أحمد أمين إسماعيل إبراهيم النجار.
Stand up, recite the party slogan and leave the room. The man has no choice. He stands, says the words and walks toward the door, probably knowing he is walking towards the death. One guy gets confused and shouts, "Me? I haven't done anything." But Saddam doesn't even care to look at him. just repeats the order, and the man's hope dies in front of the camera. 68 men led out of that room. And here's the most messed up part. Saddam makes the survivors become the executionaries. He hands them guns and forces them to kill their former colleagues. Some executionaries were so nervous they missed their targets and had to shoot multiple times. Meanwhile, outside the building, the noise started gathering up. Saddam organized a massive celebration with thousands of people cheering for the execution. 22 men died that day, but the message was clear. Cross Saddam Hussein, and this is what happens to you. But our story just getting started.
Saddam Hussein and his sons must leave Iraq within 48 hours.